This is the Jack Murphy Podcast. Here's your host, Jack Murphy.
Well, it's a whole new day in America after the elections yesterday. I can only say I'm so happy I don't live in New York City any longer. I'm glad that I don't live in Virginia any longer because, life in Virginia is probably not going to change that much because they fought Governor Youngkin on everything he tried to do in Virginia. He did accomplish some things, but New York City is going to be very, very interesting. We'll get into all that shortly. I mean, but there's a trio that we're going to have to keep our eyes on. Alpha. By the way, I'm joined now by Alpha Trivette, the amazing actor that got a brand new role we're going to be talking about in a minute. Yep. So we have the New Jersey's new governor there on the left. She doesn't scare me quite as much, because New Jersey already had a pretty liberal Democratic governor, so I don't think New Jersey's going to change a lot. This one in the middle is kind of the one that worries me. You know who she reminds me of? No. Tim Walz's wife from Minnesota. Remember her?
Yeah.
Turn the page. Remember her?
She's got a little bit of that crazy look in her eyes. Yeah.
She's got that crazy look, that great big nose. And then in the debates, when she was debating, with Winsome Earl Sears, she wouldn't answer. She wouldn't look at her. Wouldn't answer questions.
And Winsome Earl Sears was going, Abigail, and it was like you were talking to a teenager that was totally ignoring you.
Exactly.
It was very bizarre.
It was almost like she had a freeze-up moment where she just, oh my God, what do I do? Yeah. Which is, that's the last thing you want from a politician. At least Gavin Newsom and some of these other people, they'll spin some impossible yarn.
Something.
But she just froze up altogether. It was amazing. But Mamdani in New York City, I'm really surprised. And I looked at the tally this morning, and look, even if Curtis Sweela had dropped out, they were still probably going to lose by 2 or 3 percentage points in the election anyway.
Yeah.
But a lot of the things
before we skip Virginia, you got to remember they also elected Jay Jones.
Yeah, the guy that for the attorney general that wanted to shoot people in front of their kids, and
he talked about murdering his political opponents and
in front of his
children die in their mother's arms.
Alpha, that was just a youthful indiscretion. And
I know, I'm sure it was.
It was a private conversation. It doesn't belong in mainstream politics.
Yeah,
I don't know why you can't let that go. You keep bringing that up.
I know. I beating the dead horse, as it were.
Typical Republican that you are. You just keep on bringing it up. But Mamdani, some of the stuff that he campaigned on, I heard Cuomo talking about this yesterday. And one of the things was he was talking about housing. He was going to change the housing and all that. Apparently, the mayor has like zero control over that.
Right.
It's there's some sort of a rent control board.
Right.
And he doesn't get a vote on it. It's an independent thing. So I'll tell you, there's something about New York they have a problem with now. There's a guy that I follow on YouTube, and I can't think of his name right now, but he's a long-term New York City real estate investor and developer. Not a big corporate guy. He's just a guy that lived on the block, and he tells that story. He said, I grew up on this block, and he goes, when I first started to make money, that place down at the end of the block was for sale, and it was dilapidated, and I was able to buy it. And he said, and I fixed it up, rented it out, and, with the money, this one down here came available. And eventually he bought up the whole block, right? But he was talking about half the block is now sitting empty. These apartments that he has in these buildings are empty. And you know why? He said, because I can't pay the insurance and the taxes on what they'll allow me to charge for rent.
Right.
It's cheaper for me to keep them empty. So the rent control that they instituted really has had the opposite effect of what they wanted to. So you have, I think the number is 50,000 plus apartments in New York City right now are sitting empty because the landlords would rather have them sit empty than to collect rents that won't cover the expenses of the upkeep of them. They'd rather have them empty and they can just write it off.
And the people who can afford to do something like that, to convert these buildings into livable spaces, they are going to be considered the millionaires that they want to increase their taxes. And so they'll just go, I'm out of here. I'll move my stuff to Florida or North Carolina or wherever.
The number I saw this morning on one of the networks that over the last decade they've lost 3 million people.
Yes,
and if he's allowed to do the things he says he's going to do, I think they're going to lose a lot more. One of the things that he said last night, and I saw him say it again this morning, was he said, we're going to up the corporate tax rate. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, we'll just move. And he goes, well, that's fine. But if you do business in New York, you're still going to pay the New York corporate tax rate.
Right.
Well, I don't think you can do that, because if they do that, then every state does it. Well, you can't have corporations paying corporate taxes in every state they do business in.
Right.
I mean, you pay a sales tax, but a corporate tax? I don't think you can do that.
And I'm waiting to see how the athletes will respond, because when they come into New York and
they don't
play,
have any choice.
And they're making $100,000 to $1 million per game,
right,
to be there, and so
they don't have any
taxes
choice
on that.
Yeah.
I would object to coming to New York. Plus, Actors Equity, which is the stage version of Screen Actors Guild, that's for stage actors. They supported Mamdani. They're celebrating this morning.
And so did SAG-AFTRA.
That they won. And so when there's empty seats on Broadway, then what are you going to do?
They also have, I'm waiting. He has not announced this yet, but I wouldn't be surprised, because California is trying to get this done now. And there was some debate about whether or not it was legal to do, but they're pushing ahead with it. They're California's trying to pass an escape tax. And I wouldn't be surprised if New York did that. So say you're a, multimillionaire, billionaire, whatever in New York, and you go, well, that's it. I'm out. I'm not going to live here anymore. And you decide to leave, and they want to charge you that 2%. Well, they come up with this escape tax so that even if you're moving, it costs you 3% of your net worth to leave. That's what they're trying to come up with in California. They may do something like that in New York. So, interesting times. And free buses, that's a recipe for crime.
And the grocery stores, if they're going to have government or state-run grocery stores.
It hasn't worked anywhere. Hasn't worked anywhere.
Didn't work in Kansas City. In fact, they wound up having empty shelves, and the products that was there was rotten or spoiled.
Listen, if Walmart, Kroger, Piggly Wiggly, or whoever can't operate a grocery store in certain cities profitably, the government sure as hell can't.
Right.
I mean, it's just no way.
And they operate on a very thin margin anyway. I mean, most grocery stores are 2-3%. And so when people are going in and stealing 4% of it, they're not going to keep operating in places. No. And then they say, well, it's corporate greed that caused them to leave this neighborhood. And now there's food deserts.
And the NCAA gets out there and goes, it's racist that they shut down this grocery store and these drug stores. What are the people going to do? They're going to have to go steal somewhere else. That's basically what they're going to have to do.
Yeah.
So Alpha has been away for a few days. He's been very busy. He's got this hot new lady he's with. He spends a lot of time with her. They gallivant all over the place. He's auditioning for new roles. And now he was at the National FFA convention.
Correct.
He's a former national president, by the way, of that organ. What year were you president?
Well, see, this was our 50th anniversary convention. So 50 years ago.
Did you actually ride horseback to that first one, or was it a car?
Well, they did have trains. We had locomotives, so we were able to It was a 5-day trip from Virginia, but we were able to make it there in time. I had a
Okay.
shovel of, some coal
Now,
into the burner.
do all the ex-FFA presidents come pretty much? The living ones anyway?
Well, sadly, there are some who are no longer living.
I'm
However,
sure.
there was one former president from North Carolina who was there. He was the year 1965 was his year.
You
as
know,
national
I should have
president.
called my friend Randy Ratliff, because I'll bet, where was it?
In Indianapolis.
I'll bet money my friend Randy was there. He's my agricultural friend that was with Syngenta. He's recently retired and moved to Oklahoma. He's a big quarter horse guy now, but he was real big in FFA. I bet he went to that thing, because he would go around the country when he's with Syngenta and give speeches to FFA people and try to get them interested in farming and agriculture and so forth.
Well, he probably knows my friend D. James, who was also a national officer. He was the year after us, I think, or a couple of years after us. He works with rodeo horses, and he does a lot of work down in Oklahoma and Texas. In fact, is related, or not related, but he's a good friend with Taylor Sheridan down on the Sixes.
Randy
ranch
does.
down in
Randy
Texas.
lives in Tulsa. He's real big into quarter horses. That's his thing.
Okay.
He does quarter horse shows. Big money,
Yeah.
big money. Got his own airplane. Big airplane, flies into these quarter horses and stuff, and he's living the life, no doubt.
So
now,
it was a great convention. There were 5 of my 6 fellow officers who were there. Enjoyed it immensely. One, unfortunately, is not well at all. And so we send Bart Brashears down in Oklahoma our thoughts and prayers. And
I saw
the rest of us had a
saw
wonderful
some of your
time.
video, and it looked like a big entertaining convention. That's for sure.
Boy, the convention sure has changed since I was there 50 years ago.
It's a big difference when you ride up on horseback and they have hand things with candles up on a screen up there.
Right.
Now they
And,
got video. The whole
and a
deal.
telegraph. We had to communicate by telegraph. It was just...
Now, so Alpha's he's even secretive with me. He doesn't even tell me these things, folks. He waits until he's got the thing booked. And then he'll say, he's just told me, he goes, I'm going to have to be out for a few days. I got a new part. What's the name of this one?
This one is called All the Sinners Bleed, which...
is it a series, movie?
It is a limited series, which means they used to call it a mini series. So it's
Right.
8-10 episodes, something like that. And I can't see the reason I can't tell a lot about some of these things is because you sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Sure. Yeah. Well, is it going to be on Netflix or what?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
What the
Can you tell us what part you're going to play? Are you going to get murdered or anything?
I do not.
Okay.
But there's a murder involved.
Right.
And it takes place. It's seated in Virginia, on the coastal part of Virginia.
Right.
Written by a gentleman from Matthews County in Virginia, and I grew up in Caroline County, which is pretty much adjacent. So they kind of wanted somebody.
Where are you shooting it? Where are you going to shoot it?
Here in Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay.
They
All
kind
right,
of
well,
wanted
keep
somebody
us-
who speaks the native language of Virginia. So
Sure.
I'm
I
familiar
know
with
exactly.
Tidewater,
You got to
Virginia.
get out there and all that
out
stuff.
about the house.
So today's a pretty big day. I'm sorry you're not going to be here tomorrow, because today is our 99th episode
Oh, really? Wow.
of the Jack Murphy podcast. Tomorrow will be episode number 100.
Sorry, I'm going to miss
that.
that.
That follows 99. I don't know if you knew that, but tomorrow will be episode 100. We're very excited about that. So I want to ask you a question.
So don't get mad that I speak the truth and I speak facts, but I literally have never said anything to invoke violence. And I challenge somebody to go and find a clip of a Democrat invoking violence. And I love Colin. And I think towards the end, he started to punch a little harder. But like, it's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right?
What is going on with Tucker Carlson? I don't know why, but a lot of the conservative crowd is suddenly turning on Tucker Carlson. Now, I don't watch, I'm not a person that, sad to hear me say this, but I don't, subscribe to his channel and watch every episode. Like, if he has a guest that I'm interested in, I'll turn it on. And, he says something crazy every now and then, but we all do. But what has turned people like Ben Shapiro and other people against Tucker Carlson all of a sudden?
Well, he is taking a stand against Zionism.
Right.
And he's not a huge fan of Netanyahu.
Yeah.
He also
a lot of people aren't.
Right. And there are those who said they have some evidence that on the attack on the kibbutz, what was that? Was that on 6/11?
October 7th.
October 7th, right. That there was a stand down order issued.
Yeah. I've heard that too. I've heard that same story. And Netanyahu, by the way, was he'd either been convicted. I believe he'd been convicted of bribery or something in Israel, and then the war started. And Trump has even said you should pardon him. So
he's also done a series. I think it's 4 episodes on 9/11, and he's presented a lot of evidence that was totally an inside job.
Yep,
and had the help of the Israeli government in bringing down those buildings. So,
and I'll tell you, more and more, there's some 9/11 stuff I see that I can't explain. I think that airplanes hit the towers, and I think they had real Americans in them with terrorists in them. But I think somebody may have helped them get there, and somebody may have helped it happen.
Well, and because of these, the things he's been saying about the Israeli government. Now, he is quick to separate the biblical Israel from the Zionist Israeli government of today and the Zionists who support it. But that's why Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin and other people are so vehemently deciding that all of a sudden Tucker Carlson is enemy number one.
Well, my big problem with 9/11 is that plane that hit the Pentagon. And I know somebody that was there. And I've talked to him about it. And he said, look, I was so busy trying to save people, dragging people out of, the burning building kind of thing. He goes, but I never saw anything that looked like a piece of an airplane. Nothing.
I have a friend like yours who was also there that day. And I had lunch with him a couple of years ago, I guess. And I said, so was that an airplane that hit the Pentagon?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, yeah, you shouldn't ask that question. Well, yeah, it was an airplane. Yes, it was. I mean, he was a little more adamant than I thought the situation called for in saying, yes, it was an airplane.
Uh-huh.
But I'm like you. I mean, I look at those photos and I see the angle that this thing came in. And it's very
this
difficult.
Thing would have had to have gotten down on ground level about a half mile before it got there, which is almost impossible for a plane that size to do, and then fly 5 feet off the ground to hit the building like it did. And are you telling me, here's my big, they don't have video cameras? They didn't have video cameras at the Pentagon? Come on. All they had was that parking lot camera?
Right. Plus, it is provable that Donald Rumsfeld, the day before, had a press conference where he announced that there was $3 trillion
missing from the Pentagon.
Was unaccountable in the Pentagon, and they were going to do some investigating and find out where it was. Then there are people who say that Building 7 that came down afterwards was where all that information was.
Yeah. And Building 7 didn't get hit except with a little bit of debris. And I mean, and people said, there's no way that building could fall down. But listen, I didn't mean for this to turn into a 9/11 conspiracy podcast, but I just want to know about Tucker Carlson. We'll do our 9/11 conspiracy thing, at a later date.
That's part of the basis of the revolt against Tucker Carlson, I believe.
All right. Let's see what else. Oh, the other thing I said yesterday, you weren't here, but Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
I expected pretty much what Bush said about him, but I said yesterday, I have really mixed feelings about Dick Cheney now.
Yeah.
At the time I thought Dick Cheney was, now I think Dick Cheney was like a huge warmonger, and Dick Cheney put his family in front of the country, I think, particularly, as far as his daughter was concerned and everything. I think he tried to manipulate the government against the people's wishes right up until his death. And I lost a lot of respect for him. And I used to really like Dick Cheney, but that's a real mixed
Well,
feelings about him.
I'm probably like you. I mean, I bet we were the same when all of that happened, 9/11, and we were, yes, gung ho, go in there,
Right, exactly.
do what you got to do. Oh, weapons of mass destruction, damn
blow
right.
Blow them off the map, and then turns
Get
out there
those
were
out
no
of there.
weapons of mass destruction,
And
and
there weren't any. And now look at the damage that's been done to beautiful cities in the Middle East.
and look at the damage that was done. The people that died, the damage to
Exactly.
the cities, but it cost us trillions of dollars, and they had no plan for after they got rid of Saddam Hussein.
Mhm.
And now, in retrospect, and they should have known this, and again, I hate to get off on this 9/11 tangent, but if you think about it, Iraq was a lot safer place when Saddam Hussein was there.
Exactly. Well, so was Libya before they decided
Yeah.
to go attack Gaddafi.
They knew how to keep the peace, but anyway, that's a different story for a different time. Now, there's a new celebrity game show I'm pretty excited about, and I'm not a game show guy, Alpha. Fox has a new celebrity game show in the works, coming soon, and it's called Nation's Dumbest. With a twist, the losers are the winners. Celebrities will compete
Beautiful.
to get kicked off as quickly as possible so they aren't crowned the nation's dumbest. I love this idea.
So you're rewarded for being stupid.
Well, no. I mean, if you win, you're the dumbest. You're rewarded for getting kicked off quickly. It means you're the smartest.
Okay.
So
they continue to embarrass you for extended numbers of episodes.
Yeah, so it kind of flips the whole genre on its head for the first time. The goal isn't to win, it's to actually get eliminated.
Oh, geez.
They're going to have all sorts of celebrities, influencers, comedians, politicians, etc. Apparently, like a lot of stuff, we can't come up with good ideas anymore here in America. It's from Scandinavia. And they're going to switch it over from Scandinavian, obviously, to English. Although that might be fun, too, if they did it in Scandinavian so we couldn't
Might be just as
understand it.
good.
So.
But,
Anyway.
shows like that will wind up being a hit. I never thought that the Masked Singer would ever have more than one season.
I thought that was the dumbest idea I've ever heard. I watched maybe one episode of it. I still think it's a dumb idea, but people love it.
I know.
Who's under that mask? Who
Right.
could it be? Who cares?
Oh, my God.
I don't care who's under the mask. I really don't. Well, Alpha, I got my friend John Carter's been giving me quite a bit of grief about this, but I have a new workout device. And oddly enough, I saw like a gym somewhere, and this thing was sitting there, and I went, what is that thing? And I kept seeing it in gyms, and I didn't know what it was. And then I saw it of all places. I'm real big on the TikTok.
You are.
Very progressive. But they were selling a version of this thing on the TikTok shop. And it said, now on sale, normally $19.99. I said, I'm going to get one. So I buy it, and it's a thing that tilts. It's got a base, and it's got a a hinge, like a piano hinge, and it has sandpaper on it. So basically, you're at an angle like this, and you stand up on it like this, and you just do squats on it. And it will set your legs on fire. And John's been making fun of it, but I tell people we all need to suffer a little bit every day.
Sure. No pain, no gain.
Yeah, suffer a little bit every day for your health. Like in the morning, I play that Wordle and connection thing, and I suffer every day trying to solve those puzzles, but it keeps my mind active. Now,
Perhaps
for those of you, huh?
Perhaps you should do a little video of you working on that contraption.
Thing, I'll be happy. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do a video and put it on there because John was really making fun of it. But I'm telling you, the way it positions you, it's almost like I'm working on a squat rack with like 150 pounds because it's doing all my body weight and it's putting you in a position where, my legs are on fire after I get through doing that thing. It's crazy.
Kind of like, remember that contraption they had where you hook it to a doorknob and do leg things? And people wound up yanking doors off their hinges?
No, I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
No, this is nothing like that. This is nothing like that. I'll get a picture of it and show it to you.
I can't wait.
But anyway, I think it's important everybody suffer a little bit every day. And so if you have not suffered yet today,
here comes suffering time.
Prepare to suffer. Here it comes.
Oh.
For some reason, what's that? Sherry, the talk show, Sherry, I can't even think of her last name. It's a B or C ranked talk show. Yeah. Kathy celebrated her 65th birthday by showing off in a bikini.
Okay.
Sherry Shepherd.
Okay.
And Sherry screamed, "Oh my God," when Kathy came out. I'm not sure if she was having a heart attack or you look so great or whatever, but why?
And you subject the rest of us to that.
Yeah, it's
See,
again
just because you want everybody to suffer just a little bit every day.
Everybody needs to suffer. Look again, suffer a little bit more. I mean, look, she looks nothing like she really looks in real life in that picture. I mean, I've seen it without the wig.
Do you have any of her real life pictures?
I don't have any handy here, no.
Okay, well, that's good. That's fine.
But I'll make you suffer at a later date
with
one of
enough.
those photos. All right? I'll make you suffer at a later date.
You prefer the dark meat as well?
I have always preferred dark meat, but if things don't work out this Thanksgiving, I think I'm going to switch and start going after the white meat exclusively. And I mean that sincerely.
By the way, if you want to chime in.
Pour a little gravy on it. It'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah, you
got enough gravy.
Be able to work with it. You just got to, I think I can work with the white meat. I do. You can trust the white meat.
Now, I wanted to ask you another question, Alpha, because as an actor, you're around a lot of weird people.
From time to time.
Other actors, directors, producers, the Hollywood type, the TV types. But do you know who Maya Hawke is?
I do not.
Maya Hawke. Well, she played a member of the Manson family in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think she was the one that was, around Brad Pitt a lot in that movie. Remember her? She wore the Daisy Dukes and
yes. Okay.
She kept trying to sleep with him. Anyway, she was on Amy Poehler's got a very funny podcast called Good Hang. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Mm-hmm. But her mom is Uma Thurman.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's her mom. And who starred in 3 Tarantino films.
Yeah.
Those Get Bill films and all that. Well, anyway, she was asked if her mother gave her any advice about working with Quentin Tarantino before she went and did the movie. And her mother told her, yeah, keep your shoes on. Because apparently Quentin Tarantino, he's a big foot guy. He likes the feet. I never got that.
No, to each his own, but I find that a little odd.
She said, yeah, she told me several times, keep your shoes on, baby, because he's really into feet.
All righty.
I dated a girl well, I wouldn't say dated, but I was with a girl for a minute when I lived in Minnesota. This was years ago. And I don't want to be mean here, but I got invited to go on this like a single ski trip, right?
Okay.
And I was new there, and I said, okay, I'll meet some people or whatever. And it was like we took this old rickety bus up to Michigan and stayed at this old house, and we, you got ski pass. Anyway, there was this girl that was in the ski club that I'd kind of gotten to know, and not terribly attractive woman, but real nice, And
Yeah, right. Nice girl.
Nice girl, and I mean, I liked her, good personality, but I mean, it wasn't somebody I was planning on spending a lot.
Hell
Anyway,
of a cook. Yeah.
there was some wine involved and some other things, and so we're fooling around a little bit that night. And this girl, now we've been skiing all day. Our feet have been in ski boots all day long, and this girl wanted me to suck her toes.
Wait. She wanted you to suck her toes.
She wanted me to suck her toes. It's a real turn on for her, and I said, not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
Not going to happen.
Well, did you
she
even look at her toes, though? I mean, was
it wasn't like she dangled her toes alluringly in front of my face, or she didn't stick her foot up alluringly,
She didn't have a
She
big
just
hammer
came
toe
out
or
and
anything.
said, she goes, would you suck my toes? I think that's really hot. And I went, no, I will not.
No.
I don't do toe sucking. Sorry. And it was a real turn. It kind of ended everything. It was a real turnoff that I wouldn't do it.
That just shut everything down right there.
Yeah, she was shocked that I refused to participate in that.
You wouldn't give her a toe job.
I wasn't going to do it. It's nasty. I had to say
What
no.
if she had beautiful feet? I mean, not like one of those hammer toe things and big old claw nails and take a bolt
Can I be honest?
cut,
Had she been really hot, really blazing, smoking hot, and she said that, I'd have bit the bullet.
Yeah.
And the toe. I would have bit the bullet and probably sucked on the toes. But no, I wasn't going to.
No.
No.
Now, had you been brutally honest, you could have said, no, babe, if you weren't so ugly, I'd do it.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't mean or anything. I just said, I really don't want to do that. I mean.
Well, sometimes being brutally honest is not necessarily mean. I mean, you're just too homely for me to suck
it wasn't
your toes.
like she was, terribly unattractive.
Okay.
But she was a little chubby, and let's not talk about it anymore. I feel bad now that I brought it up.
I want to speak to your manager. And why is that other officer standing so far away from me?
His body cam is on. He's just trying to get you in frame.
Emotional damage.
I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so tired of the algorithms on social media. If you see something that makes you curious on Facebook or TikTok or whatever, and you click on it, suddenly you get bombarded with it.
Yeah.
And
is that the conversation we had about you getting bombarded with half-naked little people?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It will not, Alpha. It will not stop. I mean, now it's like I'm getting pictures of little people, women from Asia, Europe, Germany, black, white, yellow, all of them. And they all put little suggestive things, in the, but here's another thing. So I see this story about Mama June. You know who Mama June is? Mama June, who had the little girl.
Yeah, what was her name?
Honey Boo Boo.
Honey Boo Boo, right.
Honey Boo Boo. So I thought, apparently they're making a comeback, and there was a show from Not to Hot, And Honey Boo, I thought maybe we'll get her on the podcast. So I click on Mama June's post and I send a message asking her if she'd come on the pod. Well, I get no response. Nobody responded. But what I do get now is every time any of her, their children, their boyfriends, it all pops up on my Facebook page, and I'm so sick of it. I see nothing but Mama June, Honey Bear. This is how bad it is. I know all their names. Honey Bear, who was her boyfriend that she smoked crack with. They all pop up on my Facebook and TikTok and Instagram all the time, and you can't stop it. It's terrible.
Well,
I get Little People and Mama June and Honey Bear.
Well, the algorithm's got you pegged, man.
You know, the algorithm is probably listening right now, and later today I'll pull up Facebook and it'll be women who like to have their toes sucked or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Here come
That'll
the toes.
be my luck.
Get ready.
They had a problem in Kentucky yesterday. We were talking earlier about the election. I don't know what to think about this, but the governor of Kentucky had to make a statement yesterday. Voter turnout was stronger than expected in Kentucky yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't having any elections. State officials had to tell people that the polls were closed because Kentucky doesn't have another vote till 2026. Social media in the Bluegrass State was lit up with complaints from people showing up to vote, finding the doors closed and locked. Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams put out a statement. We're getting calls about polls being closed. They're closed because we don't have any elections today. Kentucky votes next year.
It kind of snuck up on me here in Georgia, too, yesterday. It's like, oh, that's right. We have elections. All statewide stuff, nothing.
I didn't vote. I had the only thing we had that I'm aware of was this. I'm not sure if this is correct, 10 city council people. I think 8 of them are from districts, and there's 2 at large. They're all Democrats except one.
Mm-hmm.
That seat was up for grabs, and I thought, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to stay. I mean, it's going to stay Republican, but I didn't go vote.
Well, you will probably have a redistricting vote or something coming up in your state legislature very soon.
Yeah, that passed in California. They say they're going to get 5 new Congress people in California.
Right.
Maybe that'll make up for the 5 they're going to lose in New Jersey and New York from all the people leaving.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see. So apparently the BBC has got CBS disease. Have you heard what happened at the BBC? Now, I don't know if you know how the BBC works, but the BBC does a thing where if you watch television, you have to pay a tax to the BBC.
Right.
The government runs the media. That's a really bad idea right off the bat. I mean, just from the get-go, I'm against it, as they say. But the BBC materially misled its audience by presenting a doctored version of President Trump's speech on January 6th, falsely implying that he encouraged people to riot at the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
An internal memo, which was found, has been released. The BBC mangled footage of the president's speech to make it look like he actually incited the riots, which we know now he did not. If BBC journalists are allowed to edit video in order to make people say things they never actually said, then what value are the BBC's guidelines, which is that the BBC is unbiased and truth-telling? Well, you can watch the BBC worldwide and see that they're not unbiased. They're just like PBS.
Well, ABC did the same thing, and that's why Donald Trump won a $30 million lawsuit.
Yeah, so did
against
CBS.
them.
CBS did
Yeah.
the same thing in the 60 Minutes interview when they doctored Kamala Harris's interview.
Yes.
And he won $24 million or whatever from them.
Yes.
I loved it when he did that interview the other night. I can't remember her name. He did that CBS interview the other night, and he just ate that reporter.
Nora O'Donnell. Yeah.
That's why you had to pay me all that money, Nora, because y'all lie. You can't tell the truth. She just had to sit there and take it. It was terrible. All right. Did you happen, by the way, to go outside last night, Alpha, and look up at the sky?
I did not. I was teaching a class.
It was almost, my friend that told me about this a couple of weeks ago, she had the dates all wrong. The Beaver Moon is going on right now.
The Beaver Moon.
Last night, it was almost a full beaver.
Oh, boy.
Full Beaver Moon.
Okay.
Now, it's called that because I guess the beavers go in the dens. Do they hibernate?
Yeah, they do.
I know they
do
it. I know they do at my house, but they hibernate during the wintertime, and the beavers don't come out. Just happens.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but tonight is the full Beaver Moon. I mean,
okay, so
the moon lets it all hang out tonight.
We'll get full-on beaver.
Yeah, and so I saw this video. I thought this was fascinating. It's a woman who creates moon water.
I'm sorry, moon water?
Moon water. I'd never heard of it either. Don't be embarrassed by your surprise or lack of knowledge because I knew nothing about it either. She makes moon water, and I'm happy to have a video to share with you today.
Before bed, my kids requested a glass of water, so I started by collecting water from this natural stream I stumbled upon.
That looks filthy.
I used this thrifted cheesecloth to filter out any debris before placing my water in a separate bowl. The bowl was left beneath the light of a full moon to absorb the moon's energy before receiving a sound bath. Next, I gave the water a good sage to make sure it was free of any negative energy. Once I was left with pure moon water, I added it to a pan and brought it to a simmer over low heat. For flavor, I added some small batch artisanal frozen water and melted that down before filtering it into a separate glass. The children like their water shaken, so I gave it a good shake before adding it to a drinking glass. For peak wetness, I rubbed the rim of the glass with more frozen water before whispering positive affirmations to it. This water is sure to leave them hydrated as fuck.
That's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Where do you get artisanal ice?
I guess she makes it from artisanal moon water. I don't know. But her kids are guaranteed to grow up to be crazy as batshit. That's for certain.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here today, Alpha. I appreciate making some time for us. You're going to be gone again for how long?
I'm back on set tomorrow and Friday. So, and after that, not sure. I am going to be back on Tulsa King for season 5. So just
awesome. You're going to be on the Taylor on Tulsa King again?
Yes, the Bert the Taylor makes a return. So
all right, that'll be awesome. Well, hopefully you can come back Monday. I hope so. John Garrett will be here tomorrow, as I said. Cool. It's our 100th episode.
Congratulations.
I'm, very excited about. And if you haven't, subscribe to YouTube and subscribe to the channel, like the video, or you can check us out other places too. Rumble, Spotify, Apple, iHeart. We're just had our 1000th download of the audio-only version of the podcast, so we're excited about that. But thanks for watching the Jack Murphy Podcast, and we'll see you tomorrow for episode number 100.
Congratulations.
Thanks for watching the Jack Murphy Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Go ahead, ring it. Get alerts when a new episode drops, and tell your friends about the Jack Murphy Podcast. But only the cool friends, please. Tune in next time for another episode of the Jack Murphy Podcast.